In order to begin a fitness program, what do you need to do first? Now, when you hear that, you may think of buying clothes or putting together a workout program or joining a gym. But believe it or not, that is actually putting the cart before the horse. In order to be successful, you must first address all the obstacles in your way. Removing lifestyle barriers to fitness today on the Personal Edge Fitness Podcast.
Welcome to the Personal Edge Fitness Podcast
with Garrett Williamson.
Health, wellness, exercise, nutrition, and a whole lot more. Got questions? Call us and leave a message at 251-278-EDGE or message us at Personal Edge Fitness on Facebook and Instagram, at Team PE on Twitter, or personaledgefitness.com.
Good day and welcome to the Personal Edge Fitness Podcast. I'm your host, Garrett Williamson, president of Personal Edge Fitness. So glad you joined me today. If you're interested in any question or have any questions about this podcast or any others, or if you have any questions you want answered, especially if they deal with dispelling the amazing number of myths associated with health, fitness, or wellness, please feel free to reach out to me. You can reach me at my email address, which is Garrett, Garrett, at personaledgefitness.com. You can also reach me via a website, which is, of course, personaledgefitness.com. That is also our Facebook page, Personal Edge Fitness. Feel free to call us at either one of our locations. The one in Mobile is 251-341-0927, and our Eastern Shore location is 251-651-0927. Now, I want to talk about today something that we go over in all of our consults. And it's some of the first questions we speak to clients about dealing with the lifestyle barriers. But before I get into that, I want to thank all of you that reached out to me and congratulated me on my 100th episode, which we recorded last week, The Fountain of Youth. I hope you caught that. If you haven't, you can go to your Apple Podcast, you can go to Stitcher, you can go to Spotify, wherever you get your podcast, or of course you can go to our website at personaledgefitness.com and look in the podcast session, and it's there because it deals with the true fountain of youth. And that's not just a neat saying or something that really drives everybody to that podcast because it sounds really good. No, it's true. It actually is telling you the truth. Fountain of Youth. The main reason I brought it up is I wanted to thank many of you that reached out to me. Jim in Gulf Shores, thank you so much for your comments. I appreciate your continued support. Gene from Mobile, big fan of ours, and I appreciate your support and I appreciate your congratulations. Tim out in California, thank you for reaching out to me. Forrest down in Orlando, Tina in Saraland. I've got several others, but as you can tell, I really want to thank everybody personally. But it's mighty nice of you all to reach out and congratulate me on my 100th podcast. I'm kind of overwhelmed with the support, but I really appreciate it. I got some questions. Rick in California, we received your question the other day, and yes, we are going to do a podcast on that topic. I'll be back in touch with you about that. Yes, I'm leaving that as a little bit surprised, not telling you what Rick and I were conversing about, but I look forward to that in the near future. And I think we're going to have a guest on the show when we actually cover that topic. For those of you that might be interested in it, it deals with physical therapy. So I'm looking forward to that. But anyway, back to this. The reason I picked this particular topic is I was doing a consult the other day, talking to a client. I've done thousands of these in 31 years. And the first thing we do with any client when they come in is we sit down and talk to them. It's not a workout. We don't jump right on the floor and just start working out. We've got to learn you. You've got to learn us. And what we want to look at is we want to look at the real reason why people are coming in to see us. Now, as I've said in the past, nobody comes to us for a physical reason. There's always something in our minds that are driving us to make a change. The example that I like to use is there's plenty of people walking around with rotator cuff problems that know who we are, know where we are, have the wherewithal to work out with us, but it just doesn't bother them, so they don't contact us. I've got plenty of people I know of that really could stand to lose a few pounds. They know they need to lose a few pounds, but they're not really interested in doing something about it, not until it really bothers something in their head. And we get it. We understand that. That's why we are so adamant about trying to find everyone's level of wellness. Now, in doing so, I was talking to this client the other day, and they asked me something that was kind of interesting. They said, man, you ask a lot of questions. And they actually said it politely. I appreciated it. They appreciated the interest that I showed in them, because I'm always taking notes when I'm speaking to a client. And it kind of struck me that, this is something normal to me that I've done for so many years, but I don't think I've ever addressed it with a client. Why am I asking all these questions about their work and their life and their kids and their marital status, or what they do in their pastime, what they enjoy doing? And then I start asking about daily routine, these kind of things. What I'm doing there is I'm not only getting to know the client, but I'm actually designing their fitness program right then and there. Even though I may not be their director, I may not be somebody that's actually going to be working with them, I am starting at that point putting their fitness program together. And the biggest thing that we do probably the biggest thing that I do in a consult, because I'm not working with all the clients. I'm actually setting up and trying to find the right director and the right exercise specialist, the right exercise coordinator to work with them. So I'm actually doing that in the meeting. But my main goal is to try to get them into a position where they can actually conduct a fitness program. Now, what am I saying about that? Well, that sounds kind of strange. I understand. Well, let me elaborate here. I'm actually looking at their lifestyle. Most people that come to see us are typically not in an active fitness program, though we have some that are. But even if they are, they're making an addition. They're coming to see us. They're adding something to it. Well, inherently, before we even get into the goals, before we get into why they're coming to see us as far as the physical reasons for them coming to see us, we want to get into, all right, what's in your way? What in your lifestyle is going to keep you from making this to the 21 days where you create a habit, or to the 90 days when you've actually developed a lifestyle change? Because as I tell many people, the main goal here, no matter what we're doing, is a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, whether you're with us or not, if you are carrying on this wellness program, this fitness program, this lifestyle change that you've decided to make here today, then we've hit our goal. I'm quite certain of it. We have attained what we wanted to do, and that is developing that level of wellness. So what am I talking about as far as lifestyle obstacles? Well, first thing is days of the week. When is this going to happen? Now, it's easy to say, I'm going to do Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 9 o'clock without thinking about it. Really? That would be great. That would be fantastic. Really easy. No problem. We'll write that down. That's going to happen. But what goes on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday? Is Wednesday a staff meeting that you have? Is it a super stressful day? Is that a night where you go to church in the evening, so maybe a 5 o'clock workout's not going to work out? How about Friday? I know here on the Gulf Coast, Friday afternoon workouts, they may or may not happen. Listen, we're the most successful personal training facility in the Southeast. And Friday afternoons, yeah, it's a challenge to fill them if we were to try it. Why? And that is because a lot of people take off on Friday afternoons. They go to bay houses. They go to the Gulf. They're taking time off. So if we just pull that day out of our heads and say, okay, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, this is going to happen, and we're not really looking at what really goes on in our lifestyle on those days. And so we always dive deeper. Okay, well, what's going on those days? What's happening? What have you got every single week that occurs on a certain day? And do we need to stay away from that day? And then you've got things like, okay, yeah, this rarely happens, but look back and think that event that you're talking about that rarely happened. How many times did it rarely happen in the last month? You may find that event that you think of that rarely happens actually occurred 3 or 4 times last month, or 2 or 3 times. So again, we're looking at an obstacle there as far as day is concerned. So, really figuring out that day is very important. Now, this may seem very simple, but too many people throw out the idea of starting a fitness program and don't go through these simple steps. Time of day. Time of day is very important, obviously. And the reason I say obviously, most people think that I'm going to carry on with, because there's better times of the day to work out than others. I know there's a lot of research on that, and I've actually done a podcast on what time is the best time of day to work out. But the thing about that is the science does not take into account your lifestyle. If that time is, I'm going to say a weird time because I don't want anybody to think that's the time, that's what I've got to start working out there. So I'm going to say the perfect time is 1 a.m. Hopefully nobody's going to run out and try to work out at 1 a.m. By the way, that's not the answer. I'm just using it as an example. But at the time where actually 1 a.m., what have you got going on at 1 a.m.? Most likely you're asleep. That's going to completely interrupt your sleep pattern. It's not going to work if you go to work at 6 a.m. It may sound great and what have you, but trying to work your lifestyle around that workout time is not going to work out. It's not going to be successful. We have people that want to work out early in the morning. We have a lot of people that work out early in the mornings, and we notice something very interesting about our clients that work out early in the morning. They have very few obstacles, therefore you can pretty well count on them. They're going to be there, period. But we have a lot of people that would say, hey, okay, I'm going to get up first thing in the morning and go work out. They may have even done it in the past. They may have been highly successful working out early in the morning in the past. In fact, I had somebody that's come in just this week who used to get up in the morning and go work out, and they did it 5-6 days a week. Really loved it. Started their day off. Hey, I think that's fantastic. She was very realistic about it. I thought she was incredibly brilliant when she said this, but she said, she faced it honestly. I have gotten so far out of that lifestyle, and I'm out of shape now, and I know that's not going to happen. It doesn't mean it won't happen in the future, but what she knew right off the bat without me having to tell her, because a lot of people we had to counsel on this, and that is, if you're not a morning person, or it's going to be a battle to get up in the morning, we already have a battle. Why start 2? We've got a battle of getting into this fitness program and creating a lifestyle. Why are you going to create another battle by getting yourself to get up out of the bed in the morning? Make it easier on yourself. Remove that barrier. Go find another time that's going to work out a little better. Same thing is after work. After work, you think, okay, that's when I've got time off. That's when I've got my quote-unquote extra time. And I'm going to come back to that in just a minute. But after work, think about what you're like after work. And not in that way. And here's what I mean by in that way. When I say think about what you're like after work, you're not really thinking of an actual day. Think of yesterday. Think of last Thursday at 3 o'clock. What were you doing? What were you doing at 4? What were you doing at 5? How did you feel? Where did you head after that? What's your go-to? Hey, maybe it is I'm kind of bored and that's a great time for me to work out. Fantastic. But you may find that is your lowest energy level. And anytime you have a commitment in the evening or right after work, you always try to get out of it. And if that's the case, hey, that's what's going to happen with your fitness program. So you want to be real realistic about your time of day. And you're better off, instead of looking at the best way to work out as far as time is concerned, the best time of day, it's best to have a day in between, work out 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, don't do back-to-back days. Listen, if you're working, especially if you're working with a professional, we have clients that work out back-to-back days all the time. Why? Because that works for their schedule. That's going to occur. That's going to happen. That is going to be a successful program for them. If we were to schedule it on those magical days and that magical time, it would not occur. Therefore, it would be the worst program for them. And being the professionals that we are, very easy to develop a program that you can work out back-to-back days. Not a problem whatsoever. So taking that day of week and time of day into consideration is very, very important. Now, and I have another one here, and I sort of delved into it a little bit with the time of day and the day of the week, and that is ideal situation versus reality. And what I mean by that is, I've had people come and sit in my office. I can probably do some cardio at home. At home, I've got this machine, and I've got a row machine. I've got a full gym. I've got this, that, and the other. And then one of the first things I ask them is, okay, what clothes are hanging on those apparatus? Here's what I mean. I'm not against home workouts. Hey, we do them. We set up and design programs for people to do at home. We have online sessions that we do with people at home. We actually go to people's homes and work out with them. Go to people's office and work out with them. But if you're coming in and you haven't been working out, you're trying to start a fitness program, and you sit down with me and you tell me all the equipment that you have at your home, I'm going to ask you, and how much is it getting used? Again, that's an ideal situation, but it's not reality. It is not reality. It's not occurring. Back when I was first starting as a starving personal trainer, I actually bought and sold fitness equipment. And usually the equipment I bought was the same equipment over and over again. Buy it for people. They wouldn't use it. If they weren't working out with the trainer or working out with me, then I would take the same equipment, sell it to somebody else. They would do it over and over again because they weren't using it. Again, ideal versus reality. Same situation when it comes to putting together a workout. Ideal versus reality. So many people, I'm going to take up swimming. That is amazing. It annoys a lot of people that are actual swimmers that are very dedicated to it, because that come January 1, they have the toughest time trying to get a lane because all the Johnny-come-latelys come in and take up the lanes. And they last about a week, maybe 2 weeks. Some of them stretch it out a month. I'm not saying you can't start that activity, but they haven't looked at the lifestyle barriers which keep them from being successful. You haven't thought about the fact that you're going to have to change clothes. You haven't thought about the fact that you're most likely going to have to take a shower. You haven't thought about the fact of where you're going to go to swim. There's got to be a lane open. There's only so many lanes. What time of day are you planning on going? You plan on going first thing in the morning? So is everybody else. So again, look at reality versus ideal situations. One of the things I would say as far as dealing with reality versus the ideal situation, and it goes to my next tip, and that is get away. Now, what I mean by that is that too many times we say, okay, I'm gonna go for a walk at home. I'm going to do something at the office. I'm going to walk around the building at my office or what have you. The challenge you have there, again, not against doing workouts at home. I do a lot of workouts at home myself. I am a fan of it. But the challenge that you run into is if you do not have a designated place to go, most likely you're going to run into obstacles that are all around you. I'm going to run downstairs. I'm going to lift those weights and everything. As soon as I take care of this, as soon as I empty the dishwasher, as soon as I change the clothes out, as soon as I put the baby to bed, as soon as I pick up this one thing that led me to think about this other thing, and I was going to take care of that for Stephanie the other day. I was going to get that knocked out, and while I'm at it, I'm over here, and here's the mail, and pretty soon all your time's gone away. Too many eruptions are surrounding you in your regular lifestyle, your regular life situations like home, like your office and what have you. I worked out with a neighbor, and the neighbor would actually have weights and stuff at his house. And I tell him, come over to my garage and actually work out there. Get away from the interruptions so that you actually can carry out a routine. Good way to avoid a lifestyle barrier that keeps you from working out. When putting together your time, I always like to point this out. When putting together your time and putting together your workout, of course, when putting together your workout, you need to think of any kind of limitations that you may have. Those are the obvious things, I think, when you're putting together a workout. But when you're putting together your time, be careful about bold plans and predictions of working out a long amount of time at each session. The reason I say that, not against it. I have plenty of people that love coming to the gym, love working out. And I understand that. They'll work out for an hour or 2 hours. Fantastic. That's wonderful. But when you're setting up a program and you're trying to get started and you're trying to do this on a regular basis, you've got to figure drive time. You've got to figure changing clothes. You got to figure if you're going to take a shower, if you're doing it before work or after or during the middle of the work, you're going to have to account for getting cleaned up, changing clothes in order to go to work. So that's when an hour workout becomes 2 hours. It's the failure of a lot of personal trainers, believe it or not. I'm going to work with this client. I'm going to work with them this long. Well, the problem is they're creating a situation where the client really cannot carve that much out. It's too much to ask of their lifestyle. It's too much of a break in their lifestyle. And I'm all about making small changes so that it can become a lifestyle change. I was just counseling a client this week on that, on the fact that they thought they had no time. And I said, well, we're going to have to create some time here. We're going to have to find a way until it finally becomes important enough to you to work out. That is something that we need to do. That is something everybody needs to concern themselves with. But if you're trying to make too big of an adjustment, 2 hours, 3 hours, you're going to have to add another at least 45 minutes, if not an hour, onto your workout, because you've got travel time, you've got changing clothes, you've got getting ready, you've got a lot of time around the workout that actually makes the workout happen. So something else to consider. I bring this up because this is getting close to September. It's when what I call life begins again. When people talk about the first of the year actually starts in January, then it ends in December, and that's not true. I've always argued that the first of the year starts somewhere around September when school begins, and it stops around May, and everybody takes a couple, 3 months off. So September, we're having a lot of people starting back into a fitness program. So I wanted to throw out some advice out there to people to actually be successful in getting their programs going. I got a question on the 100th, and wanted to address real quick, and that was a water question. You know I'm going to address the water question. The Fountain of Youth, when we were talking about that. And by the way, Tim, thank you so much for your recommendation on the abbreviation. I loved it because I love dogs. Everybody that knows me knows I've been involved in animal rescue for 25 years. PAWS, I thought it was great. It was this protein, activity, water. And that is the Fountain of Youth. But there was a question they had about water. They thought it was a struggle to get that large amount in. I told them a tip, and I thought, this is a nice little tip I ought to throw out about, of course, my favorite subject. When it comes to nutrition, that is water. Making sure you're taking in 100 ounces a day, every day that ends in a while. 100 ounces a day, it's going to raise your energy level. It's going to burn fat. It's going to make your digestion better, make your skin better. I'm telling you, it's going to make you live longer, and it was one of the keys to the Fountain of Youth. What I told this individual is if you really want to make sure that you're going to take your water in every day, start a ritual early in the morning. When you first get up, I do it in the shower myself. Some other people may do the same. And find a sizable amount. And I don't mean 6 ounces. Really don't mean 8 ounces. I mean something that's somewhat of a challenge. Now I'm going to throw a number out here. You have to find your own number, but 20 ounces or better is what I would say. Something that I use a 20-ounce bottle every single day, and that's how I track it. If you're watching this online, on the video, you'll see I'm holding up my bottle with my rubber bands on it, and I track my rubber bands. That's a 20-ounce bottle. Every time I drink a bottle, I move a rubber band up and down. Start with 20 ounces. Start with somewhere around there. My number, believe it or not, is 34. I've been doing it for a long time. And first thing in the morning, I don't leave the house without having that much water in my system. In fact, I don't get out of the shower after not drinking 34 ounces. What happens when you do that is it does what I call prime the pump. It gets you started. It starts to make your body crave water. You've told it, you've started to train it, hey, I'm going to give you water today. And it's going to run through that water, and it's going to make you actually, quote unquote, thirsty. And that's what you want. You want to that point of where you're actually just craving it. But it was a quick tip I wanted to throw out, and I thought there was others that might have that same question, so I thought I'd add that in today. Listen, I've gone on a little bit too long. I appreciate you paying attention. I appreciate you listening. Stay tuned for our next Personal Edge Fitness podcast. I believe we're going to be on site somewhere. I was hoping to be able to announce it today, but we've got a couple of different locations. So we'll see you then. But if you have any questions, please reach out to me at Garrett, Garrett, at personaledgefitness.com. That, of course, is our website also, personaledgefitness.com, and our Facebook page, Personal Edge Fitness. Breaking those barriers, removing those barriers in order to begin a fitness program. Hey, just one more way we help you find your level of wellness. Thank you so much for listening today.
Thanks for listening to the Personal Edge Fitness Podcast with Garrett Williamson. Subscribe now and be a part of the show by calling 251-278-EDGE or message us on Facebook and Instagram at Personal Edge Fitness or at Team PE on Twitter, and visit us at personaledgefitness.com.